Welcome in then to the latest edition of Extra Time. Robbo, I haven't spoken to you for a while. How's your summer going? Lovely time?
Very nice, thank you, Dan. Yeah, it's very nice. A bit of gardening, a bit of watching the football. A holiday to Italy, which was very pleasant. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Swimming pool in full use, inviting the neighbours round?
It is, yeah. Oh, no, we don't invite the neighbours round.
No.
You know, don't be silly. I mean, there's only enough chlorine for me and my wife. We don't let anybody else round.
Robbo falls out with neighbours, Shaka. Speaking of Shaka, this was the photo that we promised you on the last edition of Extra Time, which involved me and Stevie. What's the reasoning behind socks on the beach, Stevie? And if you're wondering why that question is being asked, there it is.
Oh, dear.
I've got to agree, it's not a good look. But it did the job.
What was the job?
Which was? To stop getting sunburnt.
Well, can't you just put them in the shade?
I already had sunburn on my feet, so I had to put the socks on. I needed a hat just to make sure. And I had to get the body covered because it was rather red from previous...
So from previous problems, hence the socks were you could just get them in the shade or put them under the sand.
Yeah, you've got to be careful. Extra careful, Dan.
Yeah, that's it. But we did give you, Steve. So it's not a normal look?
No.
No. Look, you could be a trendsetter.
Yeah, I don't think there's too many going to follow that.
Robbo, have you ever considered socks on the beach?
Certainly not. Stevie was lucky. Nobody harpooned him. That's the...
How dare you? How dare you?
Oh, God. What a treat for everyone.
Yeah, that was my wallet.
How much did you hate it on the beach?
Do you know what? I got a right parachute as well.
Oh, yeah?
Aye. My granddaughter, Lainey.
Right.
Because they'd been at the beach the whole day before when I was golfing.
OK.
And so they didn't really want to go. So just after lunchtime, she started complaining to her mum about going home.
Right.
And I went, I'll take her back.
Oh,
no problem. Brilliant. Back to the house.
Yes.
Nice and cool, get the AC
Socks
on.
off.
Socks off.
Socks off in the air.
Brilliant.
Robbo, it's clear that both Bellingham and Foden can't function together. It should be one or the other. Is dropping one the right thing to do?
I would give them one more chance because they're both outstanding players, and there is a way to play them in the same team. You know, everybody talks that Foden can't play on the left-hand side, but he plays on the left-hand side on occasions for Man City and comes in field. He's not playing outside left. They can play together. They've got to make sure that the service into them and their work rate and effort is much better, particularly Bellingham, than it has been so far. They can play together, no doubt about that.
Another one for you, Robbo. How much of an oversight was it by Southgate to not bring at least one fit left-back with them to Germany? It could offer a lot more than what Trippier is bringing at that position.
Yeah, and I think everybody would know that Luke Shaw was never going to be fully fit. I mean, we've seen it so many times. Players come into a tournament unfit and they try and get fit throughout the first 2 or 3 weeks. Years and years ago, you might remember, Dan, Kevin Keegan and Trevor Brooking did it. And they played 10 minutes in the last game when they were obviously not fit. And I don't think Luke Shaw's going to play too much football. And Trippier is a lovely player, but he's not a left-back that's going to get forward and get crosses into the box. So I think it's an oversight by Gareth Southgate.
Have international teams, Shaka, lost their style in this day and age? A decade ago, Germany, Spain, Brazil and France, amongst others, played a real fluid game. These days, all teams seem to struggle to have any sort of style.
I think that's kind of harsh statement. I think a few of the big boys have struggled this tournament in particular, but as has the Copa, in all honesty. But I think for the most part, you see some of these international teams, and the most striking thing to me is the pace that international football is being played at now. I am used to international football being far slower, far more methodical. You look at the likes of Georgia, we saw a couple of days ago, and Ukraine, and the kind of football, the tempo of football that they're playing, and worrying some of the big boys, and I think that's great to see. So yeah, some of the favourites have not had great tournaments either side of the Atlantic, but some of the smaller nations in both those tournaments, I think, have exceeded every expectation.
Stevie, given the move of Ruud van Nistelrooy to Manchester United, how broad important is the role of assistant coaches in tactical planning?
Look, I think every manager needs good assistants. They need them there to obviously back them up to get the message over to players. Sometimes players receive the message better when it's not the manager himself. Sometimes the coaches are there to, you know, when the manager's making a mistake, be able to tell him that he's making a mistake. You know, it's not good. It's not good having yes men. However, I would suggest that if there's one thing Manchester United don't need, is more assistants.
Right.
I would suggest they need some football players, and I would have concentrated on that as opposed to bringing in 2 more assistants. I mean, seriously, what difference are they going to do? I don't get it.
Stevie, have you played against George Haji, and how good was he?
I don't believe I actually played against him.
Right.
But having watched him, he's a guy on his day can do most things with the ball. Let me put it that way. I think consistency was his biggest problem, but after that, on his day, he could split open defences, he could stick free kicks in the top corners, killer passes. I mean, had a wand of a left peg. As I said, when he was on, he was something special.
Robbo, you and Stevie are the same age. Did you ever cross paths with him?
I did once, and Stevie's absolutely right. He was a great player. I mean, a truly great player. And he was playing for Brescia, I think, in a pre-season friendly against Coventry, Birmingham City. It was a little tournament, and he was playing sort of on the left-hand side of midfield, and I was playing central midfield. Yeah, and he was an outstanding passer of the ball. I think I slightly upset him on 2 or 3 occasions because in those days you could get tight. You could get tight to people and might have a little dig at them. And I did that quite early on in the game, and he wasn't particularly pleased, I would say, George Haji.
You upsetting people seems to be a trend that follows you everywhere, Robbo.
Only you, Dan, I think. Only you.
No, your neighbours, you're not talking to them.
I've got very nice neighbours, thank you very much.
Which side?
Yeah, what did he say, though?
A final question is very random. It's to you, Stevie. Since you moved to America, have you tried coffee? And did you like it? Or do you still favour tea over coffee?
No, I have a coffee every morning.
Do you?
Do I?
Yeah.
And I have tea as well.
Oh?
Yeah.
Mixing it up.
That is a strange
Random question.
Did you drink
very
coffee
random.
before you moved to America?
No.
Oh? So
No.
that's not like you to try something new.
Do you know what, Dan? I'll take you back to the black and white days of TV.
Right.
When you had coffee, it was very big time to have a coffee that was just made with milk. So if you had a coffee, you get a pan, put the milk in the pan, heat it up, get your Nescafe.
Right. Nescafe is like
and then
instant.
pour it into the cup.
Yes.
That was big time.
OK.
And we called it a frothy coffee.
Correct.
All right, old man. There we go.
Thank you, Robbo.
There we go.
Yeah, frothy coffee.
But I don't really understand why that's relevant to my question.
Well, it's not like I'd never drunk coffee before I came to the US.
But you had said...
It wasn't like I'd landed here and went, oh, coffee, what's this?
But you said you didn't.
No, I didn't drink it when I was at home, no.
Right.
When I was younger, Dan, I would, if I was having one to be very big time,
Right.
I would make it with milk.
OK.
But very, very rarely.
So you had...
Does that count?
Well, I don't know. You're kind of contradicting yourself in the answer.
No, I'm not.
I said, did you have coffee?
I would say I'm a coffee drinker, right, in the US.
Yes, but
I wouldn't have classed myself as a coffee drinker in the UK.
But you had coffee in the UK.
But I had coffee, yes.
Yes, so really,
That's
you
correct.
had tried coffee before you came to America. So you gave me a false
Well, I never
statement.
said I hadn't tried coffee before
You
I came.
did! I said, had you had coffee before you came to America? And you said
don't be
no.
so stupid.
What do you mean don't be so stupid? That was the answer you gave.
I said I wasn't a coffee drinker.
No, you didn't.
Before I came to the US.
No, I said, had you tried coffee before you came to America? And you said no.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. You know you did.
Robbo, did I say that?
All I would say, Stevie, you wouldn't be very good in court trying to defend yourself. You'd be absolutely hopeless. Dan the barrister, I think. Dan the barrister would make mincemeat of you.
I think it'd be good. Stephen Court.
Dan the barrister.
There we go. And so what coffee do you choose now? What do you have? Anything fancy?
No.
No.
Not
Coffee
frothy?
machine, whatever.
Not
Emma
a frothy
buys.
coffee?
There you are.
There you go.
Not frothy coffee.
It doesn't say so. I actually tried it.
A frothy coffee?
Completely different, yeah.
Right.
You know when you're a kid and you like something, and you've got that.
You had a memory.
You've got that memory of how it tasted.
Yes.
The last time I tried it.
Oh, it was a letdown.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what a shame.
Sorry to hear that.
Sorry. Steve.
Yeah, sorry, lads.
That is it. That brings
Sorry
us...
to end on a sad note. Sorry about that.
And I'd just start with black and white TV. Have you ever had coffee? Well, let me tell you about my black and white TV. Oh, God.